Focus Plumbing, always at your fingertips.
If the military had dog tags like this, we'd never have to reinstate the draft. It's Trigon time.
Pow! Danny Vegas time, Danny Vegas world. We are $750,000 into the show.
Hi, it's a good day. I like it.
My wife loves Thursdays.
So the money rolls in.
Oh, yeah, man. That's for sure. You know what's kind of interesting? We're going to get into some other stuff. You know, the Venetian had a shooting at their picnic. You probably might even heard about it.
Actually, I didn't. I've been out of town.
Yeah, they had a picnic. The Venetian Hotel had a picnic, and they had a shooting, and one of their supervisors was killed. And my wife said, "Oh my goodness gracious! I see her in the hallway every day." Man, that's weird. You literally say hi to this lady every day in the hallway.
That's horrible.
And then you're sitting there watching TV in the morning, drinking your coffee, and there she is on TV. Man, our condolences. That's a Vegas person. That's a Vegas family. That's a Venetian family there. So, my goodness gracious. I guess they can't find the guy.
Really?
Yeah, he parked his car in the airport. They can't find him.
Was this today?
No, this was a couple days ago.
Oh.
Over the weekend, last weekend.
Okay.
So, okay. All right. Let's get into some cool stuff. Now, if you remember correctly, last week we had hashtag Lady in Red, hashtag One Lucky Gal, Andine Rose. And we asked this question of her, and we had a little debate, not a debate, but a discussion about going to college. Now, what I like to do, since I have these three great co-hosts, we like to ask them the same question to see if we have a different line. We did this last month when it came to do women are responsible for telling warning another woman about a boyfriend or a husband that was an abuser.
Right.
We got an incredible amount of feedback on that, but we're moving on, and now we're talking maybe a little bit lighter subject about going to college. Now let me set it up for you, Lisa King, and and then you can take it from there. Okay, it's 2018. It's known, and the stats are still there, that if you go to college, the chances of you earning more in your lifetime than, a $10 bitch like me who can't get more than working at a 7-Eleven, the stats are there that you will make more money if you get an education through college situation. I didn't go to college. Andine Rose didn't go to college. Nicole Taylor Sharp never went to college. I don't even know if you went to college.
I got a culinary degree.
Okay,
you can imagine I don't do anything with it, but
so that's cooking, right?
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can cook.
I can cook.
God, you're a keeper. You like to go to the fights and you can cook. What's up with that? All right, cool. So, talking in the green room before the show, we kind of got into this conversation with you. It's 2018. Okay, here's the deal. You don't go to college. You don't get a skill. You're a $10 an hour person, and you're that way for life. I tell my children, you want to be like me? You want to be fighting for $10 an hour jobs? Then don't go to college. But at the same time, I just see so much money wasted going to college, especially for the first couple of years. You just take all these humanities, you take sexuality, you take human knowledge, you take sociology, take all this stuff that no one really cares about. You spend, 40, 30 grand doing that. Come out of college, own a ton of money. What's your thoughts on that whole college thing?
I think that there's a purpose for everybody. So if you're operating on me, I'd like for you to go to college.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel really good about that if I know what type of education and what your formal training is. If you're representing me on a homicide or something along those lines, I kind of actually want you to do that. If in certain regards, it's a necessity. It's absolutely a necessity. But there's plenty of other positions that are not $10 an hour jobs, that are six-figure jobs that you don't necessarily need to do that. I mean, Andine was just in here, and I mean, even in the beauty industry, there's so much opportunity. Yes, there's a trade school for that.
Right.
Again, there's many other opportunities other than just the traditional college. I think that was back in the day before the technology and everything else has evolved the way that it has. The cost of college has dramatically increased.
Yep, over
Jobs
200%.
Jobs are actually paying less than they were back in the days. So,
Right.
you know, as far as an economic balance, it's just not making sense for a lot of the businesses. So I think it just depends on what you're studying. I have a daughter who
Yes,
is,
tell us about that.
well, she started in criminal justice, and she
Okay.
just was no longer intrigued by it. And I'm paying a lot of money for something that she's not going to ever do in her career. So I told her, I said, find something you're passionate about, something that you want to wake up and do every single day of your life. And, you know, for her, it was the beauty industry, something
Okay.
she always loved. She was always
Right.
getting her friends ready for prom, and she did it, and she's very successful doing that. She could have been out on the strip doing cocktails, and she did it for a while, but that has a lifespan. So
That
I
does.
wanted her to have a good, solid plan A for her career, and she has, and she makes great money, and she's fulfilled daily. Whereas my son, he wants to study and do more medicine.
Okay.
And again, back to what I said, if you're
Right.
trying to put me back together again, I want you to be trained. He has to go the traditional route.
Right.
He's going to do a couple trade schools, so he has a good job while he goes to school.
Right.
But that's the route that he needed to choose. So it's kind of, it depends on the person and what their ultimate goal is.
I think you're so right because, you know, one of our sponsors is Focus Plumbing. They are hiring right now, and a good journeyman plumber in Vegas makes $100,000 a year.
Right.
So I just, you know, I just think we're taught, especially the last 30 or 40 years, that, you know, that's what you kind of have to do. And my question is, if your kid is in high school and they're just beating their head up against the wall, they don't like going to school, they don't really like the whole, you know, they're a C+ student, you know, blah, blah, blah. Do you like, well, you better go to college or you're just not going to be anything? And it's like, gee whiz, if they had a hard time in high school, what do you think it's going to be in college where the professor don't even care if you're there?
Right.
You know, you're just writing a check. They just show up. They don't even take attendance. And so the question is a college degree, you know, I'm going to study Russian liberal arts from Russia. Russian literature. That's what I'm going to study.
Well, and
Cool.
to be honest with you, you know, because I do work in corporate America,
Right.
it's amazing. On the East Coast, it's definitely more of don't even think about applying if this
Right.
box is not checked. I think if you're living in places such as where we live, there's so many opportunities
Right.
to be making six figures. I mean, it kind of limits you on where you're at. I think that the pendulum's going to swing a little bit where people are going to be more lenient towards it. I mean, I know if I'm looking for social media or someone, you know, I'm
Right.
looking for a millennial and show me what you've done. What projects did you work on in
Right.
high school or, you know, or whatnot? Because there's a lot of those things that are just now coming out, but it's not something you and I would have learned.
Well, you're very true. You know, it's kind of interesting, and this is what I always, and it's kind of interesting. For example, Danny Vegas, marketing platform, you know, SEO people, millennials, whatever you need marketing wise, I have on my phone. I have my own TV studio. I have my own platform that can do events and bring 300 people in. But do you think I'm going to get a marketing job anywhere? Over some 25-year-old just got a degree from USC.
It depends on if they want a person who can think outside the box. So
So-
it just depends. I think that, again, it's going to be the client and what you're looking for.
Right.
Does it help? Absolutely. There are certain people
Right.
that, you know, if you've got the 50, 60-year-old who's doing the hiring, yeah, you better have a degree. But there's going to be some point where the young ones are going to
shift.
be doing the hiring, and they're going to be looking for experience.
Right.
And I mean, you have YouTube phenomenas who are now being booked in movies because of their social media influence.
Right.
They didn't do anything. They knew how to operate their
Yeah.
phone. So I think it will change.
And you know, it's interesting. I think Andine and I were we're saying that, you know, if it's almost like you better to kind of give yourself somewhat of a guarantee, a little bit more of a guarantee, you better try the college route. I guess I'm trying to say is if I were not going to college in today's world, I wouldn't be as scared. I wouldn't be like, you know what, I wouldn't be well, I blew it, I'm going to be a loser. I think you could. I don't really think you need that college education if you, like I said, if you're going to be in those things that you have to be. There's just so many other things that you can do nowadays. There's so many more opportunities that, you just don't have to go down that route.
Well, I would just say for anybody who's on the fence, or you've got that student who doesn't know what to do. Again, my son's graduating in a month. My whole thing for him is I don't care what you do, find your passion.
Right.
Find that passion. It might change. He might evolve in 5 years and just not be interested in the same thing, but he'll at least have a life skill.
Right.
Again, I went the culinary route when I had a full business plan and, I had the financial backer and everything else. This is what I was going to do. Now it's a life skill. I don't use any of that for anything other than my own personal gain. So, but, again, you can't take that away. You can't take that knowledge away.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that's the subject now. So basically, this topic, college is great, but if it's not your game, don't be pushed into it if it's not your game.
Find your passion.
Yeah, find your passion. We'll be back for segment 4 and the drugs right after this.